going on, guys? I know I haven't posted a video in a while, so I figured we'd do an update on the K5 build. Currently, we're just waiting on parts to put the body on. We ended up getting a set of 20s from a buddy. They're just US Mag Ramblers. I think that's what, I think they're Ramblers. We're running 295 45 20s in the rear with 245 45 20s up front. I've got the transmission in, as well as having the drive shaft cut down. They cut about 2 foot off the drive shaft, welded up, and balanced it. So I've got the body mounts in. We're kind of just waiting on a few little parts here and there, and then waiting on me to finish painting the firewall on the body, and then we can go on with it. We got the Tejas Steelworks Crossmember bolted in. Shout out to Scotty. His products are amazing. Might have to do a little tweaking on the pinion angle still once we get the body on. But other than that, everything seems to fit. Got all the brake lines ran. Got the vent ran. I may end up changing the fuel lines out. Before the body goes on, I may end up running hard lines from the tank all the way to at least where this one kind of comes out. We'll modify it a little bit where it might just come straight up, so it's easier to hook into with a flex line. And if I pull the trigger on the Fitech EFI, we may change that as well before we put the body on. But all the brake lines are ran, all the fuel lines are ran, all the bolts are tied. I've double checked everything. A few parts I have waiting to go on. I've got the trans cooler, but I've got to get the body on so I can figure out where I want to mount that. Got some adapter fittings to go from these straight pipe threads to AN. And what else? We're basically ready to go. I got to pull a few shims out of this side. Tire's sitting a little wonky, which for eyeballing it, aligning it, it's not bad. Before we get it on the road, I'll actually take it to an alignment shop and make sure everything's correct there. Got the headers on. They're Speed Engineering shorties. The only thing I've had to do with the 4L80 is cut this little ear off on each side to clearance everything. And I need to flip my V-bands around so they're pointing down. I wasn't thinking when I put them on. We're running ARP hardware on the trans. It's 4L80, which the case I pulled out was cracked. I had to get a different case because I ended up breaking the rest of the bolt holes off trying to install it. So we got a new case, same internals, new case. We're going to be running the low car shifter. This is just so I can shift it in and out of gear to move it around. I got the rest over there on the workbench. As far as the carburetor and everything, I'm kind of back and forth on if I just want to pull the trigger on that Fitech Ultimate LS. It'll run the trans and everything else, be EFI, get away from a carburetor. And that way, if I do buy another LS, I can just swap it out, put that carb on it, and run my fuel injection on my black pickup on it. So, but we got the front brakes on. Since we have the bigger wheels, we can actually clearance those now. So we got the calipers, pads, hoses. Have to zip tie that up, kind of get it out of the way. Other than that, it's real close. I went with what brand are they? They're Energy Suspension Bushings. I guess the 4-wheel drive is the same as the 2-wheel drive, so I ordered that kit. Have to reuse my bolts and the cups on most of it, but other than that, should be good to go. I'm hoping by at least the end of January we should have the body on. Currently in Oklahoma, we have ice and snow on the ground, and it's a little too cold in the shop to be painting. It's 40 degrees in my garage right now, so I don't really want to work on anything. It's kind of cold. Kind of out of things to work on as well. I got to get some new spark plug wires coming. I need to get one new coil pack. You can see this one's kind of broke. Go to the junkyard to get that one. But other than that, I mean, we're getting real close to having the body on, and then we'll start wiring everything up. That way we can actually start it with the ignition. I think these wheels turned out pretty good they're a pretty decent price, so I snagged them up. I still plan on running the Detroit Del Reys in the future, but I needed a set of 20s for mock-up so I could actually get my brakes and everything on. So these will work for now. And I've got plenty of squares. I can always throw them on if I don't want them, or if I don't end up running on long term. So I actually bought Western chassis flip kit because the flip kit that was on the Blazer when I got it just wasn't as well built as a Western chassis, so we went with that. A local drive shaft shop cut my drive shaft down for me. Did a great job. I just took the entire thing up to him. He measured it, he cut it, fit perfect. Then I had my local transmission builder redo my trans for me as far as moving all the internal parts into the new case. He actually went through it, cleaned up the case. On the old one, I was going to have it TIG welded on. Have this bolt hole TIG welded. But as I was installing it, my jack hydraulics kind of wonky. They bled off as I was getting a phone call, so I was away. It dropped down enough, broke all the bolt holes on the driver's side. So we had to get a new case. So he moved everything over from the old broke case to the new case. Resealed, regasketed everything. I think we're running like an AC Delco oil pan versus gasket versus the cork gasket that came with the rebuild kit. So that's about it. I still have a filter over there for the future, which he put a new filter in it as well. But we got all the brake lines done, like I said. I got them from Inline Tube. They're pre-bent to factory specs, and I got them in stainless steel, so I won't have to worry about them rusting over time. I still have to rebuild the rear drums. Need new wheel cylinders and springs and shoes and everything. And what else can I say? Kind of fabricated this line. I don't really care for it, so I'm gonna most likely just buy a kit. Like, I like the line, but I don't care for, if I do run this, I'll just get a rubber hose. Not a big fan of that braided stainless on there. It looks kind of trashy whenever you don't run the AN fittings. How I plumbed my steam port, or in the ICT billet crossover. Then I just drilled and tapped my water pump and used a 45 and a 90 connection, and then just connected them together with a hose. So it turned out well, kind of hidden. I think once I get all the accessories and everything else on, it'll kind of hide everything. This will be for a Vintage Air AC Sandin 508 compressor. Should bolt it up here. Might have to clearance the dipstick tube a little bit, get it out of the way. And that way we'll have easy mount of Vintage Air in the future. I've decided I'm going to go electric fans. So I'll probably get with Scotty at Tejas Steelworks, get his fan shroud that bolts up to the Spectre Premium CU 730 I got sitting in the corner. That came with the long bed. We're going to block off the transcooler ports there, just run a remote mount that has a fan built in. I'll just run a thermostatic switch to it that'll kick it on at like 185 if it ever gets that hot. We'll mount it somewhere underneath the body. Probably have to, I bought these AN bulkhead fittings. We can go through the frame if needed. And there's a bunch of tube nuts and tube sleeves for building your own AN hard lines on sale. So I bought quite a few of those. So I may end up redoing my flex lines and hard lines. Run the Corvette filter as well. Just run 2 lines out of the tank, but make it really short. So I'm only having to run 1 long line up to the throttle body or to the regulator if I stay carbureted. But other than that, I mean, that's about all I've got for you on this update. Got quite a bit done. It's basically ready to go. I should have recorded putting the trans in, drive shaft, all that stuff, but had a lot going on lately. I just wanted to get it done. Wasn't in the mood to record. Sometimes it's nice to just be able to work with the radio on, because if you're on YouTube, you can't listen to the radio because copyright. So that was just a quick update of the 2-wheel drive K5 build. I'm gonna try to get back to posting pretty regular, at least once a month, or at least once every 2 weeks. I don't know about once a week like I was doing. We're kind of running out of progress is slowing quite a bit, so I don't know if I'll have a video a week like I was. So I'll try to at least get one video out a month for the next couple months, and then try to up that to at least once every 2 weeks. But as of right now, kind of out of videos, kind of out of projects, until we can get the body on, and we'll go from there. But other than that, if you like the video, like, comment, subscribe. We'll catch you on the next one, guys.